Hello friends, this is Dr. Antoine, your coaching data analysis using R2. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can perform means comparison when you want to test whether there is a significant difference between means or median of groups. Remember in the section of data analysis, I have showed how you can perform, you can make a data preparation, you can make a test, you can test data normality, you can test data normality, you can perform correlation analysis, you can perform regression analysis. In this video, you are going to see how step by step how you can perform comparisons of means, whether it is one mean, whether it is two means, or whether it is whether you have more than two means. Remember, the assumption in testing mean comparisons, when you want to use parametric test, it is data normality and equality of variance. We are going to begin with testing one sample t-test, which allows you to compare the mean of your data to a standard or a critical mean. Suppose that the mean age of students is 20, and you want to test whether the mean of your student is significantly different from 20. Now, in this case, you are going to use t-test. For instance, when you have data like this, suppose that this is the age of the first student, second age of second student, and so on. We want to know whether the mean age of these students is significantly different from 20. 20 is the reference or the theoretical mean. Now here I create a data frame, but most of the time you are going to import your data from Excel file most of the time we are going to import your data from Excel file, which must be converted in CSV format. Now I create, to show you how you can perform t-tests, you can, one sample t-test, I just created this data. I'm going to test it in normality. This is the testing for data normality. This test. Now, as you can see here, the p-value, remember the null hypothesis for normality is that data are normally distributed. And the null hypothesis is rejected when the p-value is greater than 5%. In this case, as you can see here, when I perform Shapiro weak normality test, you see here, the p-value is greater than 5%, and we agree that the data are normally distributed. The null hypothesis of normality is not rejected. Now we can just use parametric tests where to compare whether the mean of this data, whether the mean of these students is statistically different from 20. Now you see how you can write the comments here. This is the comment. I just have to click run to execute this comment. Now here, you see now how I write here 20. You can write any number you want to compare, the standard mean. You can write any number if it is 20, 21, 20, 23, 25. This is where you write, the place where you write the standard or the theoretical mean. Now as you can see here, the null hypothesis in this case is the equality of means. That means the equality, the means of this student, the mean age of this student is equal to this standard mean. Now, when I execute, the null hypothesis is that there is equality of means. But when the p-value is less than 5%, I reject the null hypothesis and concluded that there is a significant difference in the means I'm comparing. Now, as you can see here, the p-value is less than 5%. Now, the null hypothesis is rejected, and you can conclude that there is a significant difference from the mean age and the standard age. As you can see here, the mean calculated from our data is 22, which is 22 is considered to be significantly different from 20. That's why the p-value is less than 5%. Suppose that we want to compare if the mean age is, we want to compare whether the mean age of these students is statistically different from 22. Now we change here. In place of using in the place of 20, I put 20. I replace by 22. Now let's execute this command. You will see the result. Now, as you can see, the p-value is not less than, is greater than 5%, and you can conclude that the mean age of this student is not statistically different from 22. That means there is equality of means. Now, as you can see, when I calculate the mean, now you can, as you can see, it is 22.77273. And this is how you can make a comparison of your data to a theoretical mean or standard mean. If the data were not normally distributed, we would have used non-parametric test, which is based on the media. Look, this is the command you can click. This is Wilkinson. So Wilkinson sand lang. This test is not based on this data, but it is based on the lang. Now, as you can see here, also this test confirms that there is a significant difference in our data. This is when you have one group. When you have two groups, when you want to compare two groups, now we are going to see how you can compare two groups. Because now here we have one group and we are comparing the mean of this group to a standard mean or theoretical mean. Now we are going to compare when we have two groups. In this category of groups, we have what we call independent sample, and we have also what we call paired sample. One group is in one category is independent group, and the another category is dependent or paired sample. There is independent sample when, for instance, you have a group of men and a group of women, or a group of one country, high income country, and high low middle income country. Now you see that there are groups which are independent. They are paired sample. We call paired sample when you are taking measure on the same observations for two times, for instance. For example, when you are analyzing weights of a group of people which are practicing sport, you take the weight before sport, and you take for the same individuals, you take the weight after 2 month period of support. Now, or when you, for instance, want to understand what we call paired sample, consider now you are analyzing the economic growth of countries. You analyze, you get data from 1 year and you get data from second year. You see now you are analyzing economic growth on some countries. Now, there are some countries which are analyzed. We consider that variable of economic growth. But economic growth is usually 2 times the first year, second year, third year, but on the same countries. Now, what we call paired sample test. Sample test. I repeat, they are independent groups when you can have 2 groups which have no correlation. Suppose that you want to analyze the age of men and the women. Now you can see age of women and the men are different. But when you want to analyze the economic growth of countries, you can analyze for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, but on the same countries. Now is what we call paired sample. Okay, let's see now the assumption when you want to use the parametric test is that data must be normally distributed and there must be equality of variance in your data. Now, let's show you how you can compare for independent sample. We use this library has data called this data, which is in this library. This library will help us to select some variables. Now, this is the data included in this library. This one is, and I just want to save this data in here. Data. I save this data in here. Data. This is the name where I save my data. Now, I'm going to compare the age of men to the age of women if there is a statistical difference in the mean age or median age of men and women. Now, as you can see here, we have age. This is age. This one, age. The first one is 28, 23, 49, 59, this one. And as the gender or sex is femme, which means female, femmes, this is in French, and this is homme or male. Okay, now let's show you, let's see the dimension of our variable, the number of observations, the number of variable. We have 2,000 observations with 20 variables. Now, I'm interested in comparing the mean age of men and women. Now I select this variable because I'm interested in age and sex only. I select age and sex or gender. Now let's select. Okay, now I'm going to analyze whether I have missing data. This is this command will allows us to see if there is missing data in age and gender. Now, as you can see, the result here, age there is no missing data, 0 missing data, and sex also there is no missing data. Okay, now I'm going to just calculate the descriptive statistic, and we see the comment group data by sex, and I want the summary of the number and mean and standard deviation. This is the comment. Okay, now I execute this comment. As you can see here, I have the number of men and I have the number of women. I have the mean of men and I have the mean of women, and I have standard deviation of men and the standard deviation of women. Okay, now let's visualize. Let's see visually whether I can detect a difference when I just visualize. This library will allows you to make this comment, execute this comment. Let's see the results when we visualize. Okay, now as you can see here, look here, you see all or men, this is female or femme. As you can see here, apparently there is no significant difference because you can see here the mean is at the same level. This is the visualization. Okay, let's reduce this one and I can delete all this. Now I'm going to test for normality, data normality, to know whether I'm going to use parametric test or non-parametric test. Remember the assumption that data must be normally distributed and the equality of variance. Now I'm going to show you how you can test normality. This is the command for normality. As you can see here, the result, the p-value is less than 5%. Now you can conclude that are not normally distributed. For female or femme, we do the same. Now, as you can see here, the p-value is less than 5%. We conclude that are not normally distributed. We are testing assumptions. Normally, when normality is not met, the assumption of normality is not met, automatically you can understand that we are going to use non-parametric test, because when you want to use parametric test, data must be normally distributed. Otherwise, we use non-parametric test. Now, we can also test whether there is equality of variance, as the null hypothesis is the variance are equal. This is the null hypothesis, equality of variance. Equality of variance. Now we can just test here. This is the comment. The null hypothesis is equality of variance, and this hypothesis is rejected when p-value is less than 5%. But as you can see here, the p-value is greater than 5%, we can conclude that there is no significant difference in the variance. That means there is equality of variance. Now let's test whether when there is a statistically significant in the median, because we are using non-parametric test, we consider median, but when we use parametric test, we consider the mean. Now, let's see if there is a significant difference in the median of our data. This is the comment in non-parametric test. We click on rank sum test. Now you can see as the p-value is greater than 5%, we conclude that there is no significant difference in the median of our data. If normality and equality of variance are met, so if normality and equality of variance are not met, you can use this comment, because now in the first one here, variance is equal, but not now here, the normality is not met. This is used when normality and equality of variance are not met. Okay, let's see the results. And it is almost the same results. The p-value is 0.76. It is the same result. We have the same results, same statistic, and same result, because there's no difference. And if data were normally distributed and equality of variance is met, we can use parametric test. And if it was the case, we would have used this requirement, this one, t-test is killed 6. This one would have been used if data were normally distributed and equality of variance. Now, as you can see here, in the mean, there is no difference, because as you can see here, the mean group of men, you see here there is 48.16, and here there is for female there is 48.15. There's no significant difference. As you can see, the p-value is greater than 5%. Okay, we continue. If the variance is not equal, but there is normality, that normality, we can use this comment, this one. But apparently we can have same results. Okay, we have same results. But the t-test is not the same, look. And here. The t-test is not the same, the t-test. P-value is the same, but the t-test is not the same. And the degree of freedom also is not the same, as you can see here. Degree of freedom, and here is the degree of freedom is not the same. Okay, friends, now let's show you another example. As we can here we can conclude that there's no significant difference in the mean age or the median age of our sample, and we report this p-value, and all this must be reported. This one, this t-test, degree of freedom, and the p-value. Okay, let's show you another example. The second example, let's create, for instance, a data frame where we want to compare the result of female and the men, and we want to see if there is in the result there is a significant difference in the result of men and women. Now we create this data frame. Normally data are imported in Excel, but when you have this case, you can use this one. Let's delete that. Now we are going to create a data frame of our data, just to have. Okay, now we have John or gender, and these are results. Now we just make a descriptive statistic as we have done before. This is the comment. This one. Just to count the number of women and men and see the mean and standard deviation. This is the result found on. We have 12 observations, 12 for men and 12 for women, and this is the mean. Now, as you can see here, the mean result of female is 52, while it is 69 for men. Now let's see, let's visualize, use visualization. We want to visualize to see whether we can detect this difference visually. Now this is the command. I just select this and I execute this. And let's see here, visually we can see, yeah, now you can see here, this is the mean age of female with outliers here, and this is the mean age of male with this indicating outlier. Okay, now we are going to test the normality data, normality testing for our data. Now here you see the comment. We use Shapiro-Wilk test. So let's use this one. Now, as you can see here, the p-value is greater than 5%. We conclude that the data are normally distributed. Let's see for women, female. So this is for men. This is, let's see, for also for female or female that are normally distributed. We are going to test equality of variance. Equality of variance. Now, as you can see, this is the comment, equality of variance. Now, as you can see, the p-value is greater than 5%. We conclude that the variance is equal. Now, let's perform our t-test because conditions are met that are normally distributed and there is equality of variance. Now, this is the comment. Okay. Now, because this command can be performed because I have created the data in our environment, working environment. But as you can see, the p-value here is less than 4%, indicating that there is significant difference in the mean result of female and male, or FR. And when you have imported your data, this is the comment that you can use. The comment. This is the name of variable one. This one result, and this is the name of the qualitative variable. Because when you are working with two groups, you must have two kinds of variable: quantitative variable, which is results, and qualitative variable, which is gender. Here, genre, indicating male and female, country, low middle country or upper middle country. But you must have two kinds of variable, which one are qualitative and one quantitative. Now, this is the command when you can use when you have imported your data, that you have same results. Now we can see that there is significant difference, and as you can see here in the t-test, two sample t-test, you can see the mean was calculated here. Okay, suppose that variance were different. There is normal data is not normally distributed, but when you test the variance is not equal. Now we are going to use this command to test our mean difference. Now we use wedge two sample t-test, which is non-parametric test. Now you can see here the p-value is less than 5%, and we conclude that the means results of men and women are not equal of If assumptions were not met, the assumption of equality of variance and normality were not met, we have used non-parametric test, which is this command, non-parametric. Here the analysis will be based on the rank, and we see also that there is significant difference in the mean result of men and women. And we can use also a command which has no if the variance is not if variance is different, if there is no data are normal, if data were normally distributed, and variance is not equal, now we use this comment. Variance here. This comment. This one. And the same conclusion. Now you see now how we can compare mean for independent sample. I repeat, this is for independent variable. When you are comparing the mean or median of two groups which are independent. Now, we are going to see how you can compare mean for some paired sample. When you are making, for instance, analyzing same data for 2 periods or 3 periods. Now this is important because you can use this sample, this test to analyze the impact of your project or to analyze the impact of your treatment. This is very important because you are going to compare 2 periods. You compare the results in 2 periods. Look, for instance, this example. Suppose that we have consider the weight of persons which are going to take a regime or to practice support, and we want to see whether support has effect on reducing weight. This is just an example which are taken randomly, which is taken this sample. These numbers were taken randomly. It is not the reality. Now we take the data before we take a support, and this is data after 2 months support. And we are going to see whether there is significant difference between the weights before and the weights after 2 months support. Now, to choose between parametric and non-parametric tests, we have to consider normality of differences. Now, normality differences means you take this one minus this one, 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 this also minus this one minus this one, and we will see whether the difference is normally distributed or not. Now, let's create the data frame, and you can see how that are here. As you can see here, we have a period and we have a weight. Period after, period before. Now, let's do this. And this is the descriptive statistics. This one to see what is the number, mean, standard deviation. As you can see here, mean after it is 72.4. Weight before, mean weight before, it was 75.0 with standard deviation, which is this. And let's visualize this result. Visualization. Now, as you can see on graphic, let's see the graphic. I don't know what's happening, so I'm going to use graphic. This is not running. Let's see. Okay, now you can see the graphic. As you can see here, when you look, for instance, here, the weight before and the weight after, there is just a little difference, as you can see on the graphic. Okay, and now I'm going to calculate the mean difference. Here, I'm going to calculate the mean difference. Now, this is the comment for calculating mean difference. And I'm going, after the mean difference, I'm going to calculate to test whether there is the mean difference is normally distributed or not. This is the comment. And as you can see now here, the result shows that the mean difference is normally distributed. Now I can use the parametric test. This here. The new hypothesis is that means are equal. No hypothesis. Means after is equal to mean before. Mean weight after is equal to mean before weight. Mean weight before. That means there is no difference, or the support has no impact on losing weight. Now I use t-test, which is parametric test. Now you can see here the assumption that these means are equal and not statistical difference is not rejected, as the p-value is greater than 1%. Now, as you can see here, the p-value. Now let's see the command when you use. This is the command you will use when data are inputted in data. When data are imported in R, not created in working environment. Now you can see we have the same result. This command is used when you imported your data in R. Because now we have created our sample in R, you can use this command or this one. Now, if the data were not normal, with the difference, which kind of test that would have used if the difference were not normally distributed? We will have used this command, this one, which is non-parametric. And also this test we kicks on. Wilcoxon Silang shows that there is no significant difference in the median of weight of this sample in our sample. There is no significant difference in median weight of our sample. Okay, friends, now let's show you how you can use this to evaluate a project, the impact of your intervention, or the impact of the project. Now we are going to use data from doing business report. For instance, it is related to cost business starting. Data were imported on World Bank, and as you remember, starting business were implemented since 2004, and I take this data from 2004 and I want to compare the mean costs of business starting of 2019. This is how you can use to compare, to evaluate the impact of your project. You have the data before implementation of your project, and you have the mean the data after a given period of implementation. As you can see here, it is after 15 years of implementation or doing business production reports. And now I test now let's import our data first. This is the command for importing our data, this one. And I can show you how data are made. Just an Alto paste variable. Now let's delete this one. These are our data. Look, we have countries. We have a cost business starting of 2004. The cost of business starting 2019. This is real data. I retrieved this data. I retrieved this data on a World Bank database. Okay, now I just want to see if there is significant difference. Now I calculate the difference. Now I test the normality of difference. This is the comment, this one. As you can see, the difference is not normally distributed. Now I'm going to use Nonparametric Tests to test whether there is a significant difference in the median of cost of certain business. Now I can see here. Now I use here, instead of mean, I use median. Median. Now I use here median. Okay, now this is the median costs. Starting business cost is 26. This is for 2004. And here, after, it's $5 in dollar. This is the median. It is here, it is $26.6. The median cost of starting a business when you want to open, for instance, a company, the median cost was $26.6. But in 2019, it is the median cost is $5 to open a company, for instance. Now, as you can see, there is a significant change in the median cost of business starting. Now we can conclude that countries have made effort to improve business environment. This is the conclusion. But if, for instance, we found that the p-value was greater than 5%, we conclude that there is no significant impact, even though the World Bank has recommended to improve business environment. We conclude that there is no countries haven't changed to improve business environment. That is what would be the interpretation of p-value greater than 5%, because we're analyzing whether countries have made effort to improve business environment, and as conclusion, as the World Bank has recommended to reduce the cost of business starting and countries have made effort to reduce this cost. That's why we have a significant change in median cost of business starting. Okay, this is to show you how you can use this mean comparison to evaluate the impact of your actions. Now, if the difference were normally distributed, we would have used this t-test, this one. Okay. Now, as you can see, even in the mean, there is significant, because the p-value is less than 5%. We know that there is a significant difference in the mean. As here, yeah, there is significant difference in the mean of that. Now we were comparing situations when we have two means, whether it is pair independent sample or paired sample. But when we have more than two means, now we are going to analyze what we call analysis of variance using ANOVA, using which have same assumptions. Here we have to calculate in analysis of variance, to know whether we use parametric or non-parametric tests. Also, we have our data must be normally distributed, and we must have a qualitative variance. And here, in this example, I'm going to use countries, what we call female labor force participation, and I consider countries were just grouped based on low middle income nations, which have gross national income per capita, which is less between this amount. This is low middle income, and upper middle income countries have gross national upper middle income countries have a gross national income per capita, which is between this amount, and high income countries have gross national income per capita, which is greater than this amount. Now, as you can see, I have two groups, but when you have more than two groups, we use same comments. Let's show you the data. I'm going to see if I can show you the data, or what kind of data you have. Don't know kind of problem I have. Let's see if I have just imported our data. This is for to import our data, and this is the comment. This comment is to indicate where my data were saved. This one. This is the link indicating to R where I have stored my data. Now I can let's use view. This comment allows me to see the data. Now as you can see, look at the structure for that. This is the class of economy or country, and this is female labor force participation. Data is for 2019, and this data also are real data because I retrieved this data was retrieved on World Bank websites. This you see high income countries, and this is low middle income, and this is upper middle income. This is the structure from our data. So, and now I'm going to see if in these regions female labor participation is the same or there is significant difference. This is what I want to see. Now let's first see analyze statistical or descriptive statistics. Now as you can see, high income we have 29 observation as in lower middle income and upper middle income. But when you see the mean here, you see we have the result of mean and median and standard deviation. Okay. Now let's visualize the results to see. Look how visually how things are. What is the situation visually? Let's see here. Okay, now as you can see, this up middle income and high middle, as you can see, it is like the same, but when you compare low middle it is this one, and this, as you can see, there is a difference. And when you compare also low middle income and to high middle, you can see that there is a difference. You see here and this one. This is visualization. Okay, let's reduce and this. Now the first thing I'm going to do is to test whether our data are normally distributed or not, so as to decide whether I'm going to use parametric or non-parametric test. Now let's test normality for upper middle income. This is the comment. Now data are not normally distributed. Let's test for this one low middle. Data are not normally distributed, as you can see the p-value. Let's test for higher middle. Now also not normally distributed. Now as or in this region that are not normally distributed. Now this indicates that we are going to use non-parametric test. Let's test the equality of variance. Even though it is not necessary because that are not normally distributed. As you can see, the p-value Variance test for homogeneity indicates that the variance is equal. Now you can see p-value is greater than 5%. We can use also another test, which is this Barrett test. Barrett's test for homogeneity of variances. Now the p-value is greater than 5%, and we conclude that the variance is the same. Now let's see, using non-parametric tests, let's see if there is significant difference in the median female labor force participation in these country regions. Because I have created 3 regions. Now as you can see, this is a so which kind of comment I executed? So I executed this one. Sorry. So this is the comment that a non-parametric test. Cross-card test is a non-parametric test which is used to test when data are not normally distributed, and when there is significant difference in variance. Now, remember, the null hypothesis is that the means are equal. Now, you see, here, because we are working on non-parametric tests, this is the median. Median are not equal. But I want to know which regions have a mean median, which are statistically different. This is the test used for pairwise comparison. I want to see which are those regions which have a significant difference in the median female labor force participation. As you can see now, it is pairwise. Now we compare low middle income and high middle income. Now you can see the p-value is less than 5%, which means the significant difference is significant. And up middle income and high middle, the p-value is less than 5%, indicating that there is no significant difference in the median female labor force participation between up middle income and high middle income. But when you consider up middle income and low middle income, you can see that the difference is significant. Okay, now this is how you can analyze when you have more than two means. Now, if assumptions were met, we would have used this test, this one, this comment. If assumption of normality and equality of variance, we run this comment. This is one way ANOVA. And you can see also the p-value is less than 5%. Because that means are not equal. We make pairwise comparison to see those means which are different. Now, as you can see here, low, middle, and high middle, these are difference. These are difference. Now, low, middle, and high income, low, middle, and high income, the difference is 6. Now, the p-value is less than 5%. The difference is significant. Look, upper middle and higher middle, upper middle and the higher middle, the difference is minus 1.4. Now, you should see the difference is not. The p-value is, the p-value is, this one is not significant. When you compare up middle income and low middle income, the difference is, look, is minus 8. Now, the p-value is this one, less than 5%. That means regions which are different, regions which are different are this one. Then is just we saw graphics. Okay. Now, when we don't have any assumptions, we can use this test, one-way test, which has no assumption of normality and equality of variance. We can use this. But you want to care about this assumption. But also this test indicated that there is significant difference in the mean. Now, this test indicates also there is a significant difference in the mean, but we want to know which are those means which are different by using this test, this one. Look, now the result is create the same. Now, as you can see here, it is low, middle, and high. This one, which is the same here, low, middle, and high income, and sorry, upper middle income, and low middle income, which is we have same conclusions. We have same conclusion. Now, okay, friends, this is how you can test how you can compare. Okay, friends, this is how you can compare your means of your groups or median of your groups, and I think this will help you to improve how you can test you can analyze, and I hope this will help you how you can analyze your data when you are comparing the means or you are assessing the impact of your project. And if you found this helpful, you can share, like in my video, and you can also subscribe to my channel, because I will continue to produce this video, other videos that will help you to improve yourself in data analysis. Thank you, friends, for your visualization.